How society failed
Things
Gen
have
Z.
changed. That narrative we've all been told to follow, go to school, get a job, buy a house, start a family, and then maybe be happy. Well, that narrative has been broken.
The system is
It's
always
been broken
trending
for a
towards
long time.
disorder, and there's just no escape.
Gen Z has been subject to a lot of trauma.
They seem to have lost their social skills.
From the rise of the digital world to countless government failures and a complete shutdown of society, you are left with millions of people that are lost, lonely, and hopeless with no future to strive for.
More and more people suffer from isolation and loneliness.
Depression has almost become normalized.
This isn't a story of politics, agendas, or reformation.
Apparently, Gen Z is like aging really rapidly.
Rather,
What you
one
mean?
of Gen Z being a failed generation.
Huh?
Are people just okay with the way that the economy is right now?
No.
People have no hope of ever getting a home.
Damn, this is kind of sad and depressing.
For you to even
Let's watch
start
more.
to understand Gen Z, you have to understand their biggest influence, and that's none other than the rise of
internet.
technology and the internet.
One site that's gaining enormous popularity is YouTube.
Some people might just like having a bunch of things going on at the same time to fill their attention spans.
Children all over the country are glued to different screens playing Fortnite.
Skibbity Fortnite, skibbity Fortnite.
You have this entire group of people
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I think I just lost 10 brain cells just watching that quick clip.
being raised when the whole world is changing around them. Gen Z, or Generation Z, is comprised of those born between
Generation
the years
Z.
1997 and
British.
2012. Though often referred to as a time of crisis, from the millennium to the global financial crash to the supposed end of the world.
I remember
They
that.
base this on interpretations of the Mayan calendar.
These years
I
instead
remember that.
brought some of the most impactful revelations, from the smartphone to widespread home internet and social medias like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Now you ask, why is this relevant? Gen Z was born into the
They
tech
were born
boom.
with it.
People now had infinite access to global communication and information all from their pocket. At first glance, innovation seems harmless, but need I restate, an entire generation didn't get to see these changes as innovations, but
They
rather
just see it as
the norm.
life.
Gen Z has grew up doing everything on screens, from messaging friends to watching videos, playing games, dating, recording their lives, and even going as far as building their very identity and beliefs.
The Matrix is real. They will try
Well,
to
yeah.
silence me.
You see,
Well,
what
okay,
at first
well,
was a
maybe.
novelty
If you
soon
keep talking
became
like
a
that.
dependency. People weren't just playing on their Nintendo DS for 15 minutes a day, they were now hooked on their devices. The bleak reality is we are in what I would refer to as the digital dark age. Gen Z is violently addicted to their phones, video games, and adult content. They resort to short-term pleasures to distract them from their depressing realities. People have
sad.
become so hooked they are often on their phones for 10 plus.
You know what the crazy thing is? They could actually change it. And it just takes you actually going out and doing something about it. I can't be the only one that thinks this, right? I know a lot of people have like a defeatist mentality. It's like, oh, life sucks and it's never gonna get better. Well, yeah, if you guys are alone, it's not gonna get better. But if y'all work together, it can get better. It honestly can. I'll be waiting to see it though.
Hours a day. No better thanks to short form content, dopamine hooks, and addictive algorithms. The ability to build social profiles has fueled collective narcissism and need for self status among young people, as everyone actively tries to make their lives seem better online. Social media has completely destroyed the attention span of Gen Z, with people unable to focus on a video for more than a second.
I can feel my brain tingling to get a glimpse of my phone.
This has been worsened by Gen Z unable to complete everyday tasks like walking or eating without music or Family Guy funny moments playing. This is no
And I get it. It's not an exaggeration. And it makes me think because back when I was in high school, I remember freshman year, I brought to the attention of the principal of the school, it's like, we're doing these tests. These in Texas it's called the STAR test. Everywhere else is like whatever. The state regulated test in America, right? And it lasts for a week. Every day you have to take a test throughout the entire day for 5 days, right? So what I brought to the attention, Fern, can you do that somewhere else? I'm trying to make a video. What I was trying to bring to the attention to the principal is like, we don't have enough mental stimulation. Of course, at that age, I couldn't really explain it. But what I asked the principal was, can we listen to music while taking the test? Obviously, that'd be a no, because you could always just like cheat on the test, having your headphones in, or blase blase having your phone and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I legitimately felt like, if I don't get anything besides, this test, I'm gonna lose my mind, right? So I was like, hey, can we just listen to music while taking a test? And now I'm hearing people listen to music while eating, people listen to music as soon as they wake up. And it's okay to listen to music, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But if it's like a need, right? You need to listen to music to get through the day. That's absolutely insane, bro. You trying to like live your life as if it was some type of sitcom or something. You know how everything has like music on a TV show? That's kind of wild. People have to like want to live their life like that, or they feel the need to live their life like that. That's kind of crazy.
Exaggeration, and in fact it's a heavy underplay. This whole phenomena is described as brain rot, as it's so overstimulating it might as well be rotting your brain.
Level 5 got Riz, Livy done rizzing up baby Gronk, Ice Spice what the dog doing, Skibbity Toilet in real life only in Ohio.
And it gets better. In a world more connected than ever, you have the biggest loneliness epidemic we've ever seen.
That was a joke,
Gen Z
right?
has a loneliness problem.
Gen Z is the loneliest generation in America.
Even Philip DeFranco.
I can fix that.
The cause for this is
that's
undeniably
scary.
stress about the future, overstimulation, and social media. But instead of addressing these issues, Gen Z will often refer to thugging it out and coping. People
Thugging that
rarely
shit
go out
out.
like they used to, and the majority of interactions are online. And as a result, you have millions upon millions of people with no one to talk to or find real connection with. Gen Z is resorting
Sad.
to living on TikTok or in the metaverse
Sad.
or even finding AI girlfriends. Undoubtedly, that was a lot to take in, but what does all of that even mean? Well, it's not looking good. You have a generation that can't focus, which leads to worse academic results, with many Americans unable
productivity
to
as
point out
well.
their own country on a map. And then this,
You're
by
joking, right?
extension, leads to greater unemployment rates, with
Yeah,
millions
nobody can get
already
a job.
hating the system and not wanting to work at all. Then from that, you have people exclusively making their opinions from TikToks or comment sections online, from taking down the deep state and the matrix to fueling propaganda and cancel culture, with all sides of the coin having no real clue what they are defending. People are putting their beliefs exclusively on what big tech companies force to them in algorithms for 10 hours a day. And
The
when they're done with the
almighty
outside
algorithm.
world, they shut away, fuel their addictions, and let their life amount to nothing. But this isn't their fault. The fix isn't as simple as just turning off the phone or deleting social media. There's a lot more
It's
to
deeper
it.
than that.
In fact, the entire
Way deeper than
generation
that.
was already failed
But that is a start. It absolutely is a start.
from the start.
Somebody explain to me why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live.
Now, the British pound has fallen to its lowest level ever.
From the CDC suggesting major problems with regard to the mental health of our adolescents.
For younger generations, the cost of living has increased so much.
More than 1/3 of young people are spending much higher proportions of their income on rent.
Honestly, this makes me feel sad. Like, I never really paid attention to it because I'm not young, right? And I don't, have that issue where paying rent. You know, back when I still lived in America, when I was paying rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Texas, back then, Texas was one of those states that had lower rent prices, especially compared to other places in the West Coast and in the East Coast. And even then, $900 a month, I was like, damn, this shit's expensive. Fast forward, that same apartment costs like what, 1.4 or 1.5K on top of inflation. So obviously there's a huge problem, not just in America, by the way. This is a huge problem around the world. There needs to be change. It's just, what do we have to do to change it? And there's a lot of things we have to do to change it. And it's something that we also have to do as a community. All of us will have to pitch in and support. And I'm perfectly fine with doing it too. Whether it's, UBI, Universal Basic Income, or it's something else. A lot of people think capitalism is the end all be all. But in all honesty, it's not. A lot of things could change. A lot of things we could try and change. Because sticking with what we have now obviously is not helping the people younger than us. And they're going to be the people that have to take care of us fast forward 50, 60 years from now, when we're old and we can barely walk. And, we got to wear a pamper because we can't make it to the toilet in time because we move too slow. These people, the younger generation, they are important. And a lot of people, it's just easy for them to, they don't work hard enough. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. There are legitimately some people that are lazy. There are going to be people that legitimately use government issued resources to just slack off. That being said, there are going to be other people that use those government resources to create things better for everybody else. I'm a product of that. Mike, a good friend of mine, he is a product of that. We both had to use government money to create a better life. And now what I do is entertainment, but that's what I do now. Fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, who knows what we could be doing for the future? Because I personally want to do stuff for the future besides just making YouTube videos. It just comes down to time and place and the opportunity to do so. But at the same time, younger people need to get those opportunities as well. I don't want to be the only one reaping benefits of, securing my life for myself. Some people need help to try and do that. Some people need to get pushed in the right direction. Not everybody just has that innate grind set or willpower to say, hey, I'm going to do this for myself. Shout out to Kids 38. My boy been working at Amazon for like the past 5 years, right? Amazon fucking sucks, but Amazon is very important in the world. And it's like he and everybody else that's working at Amazon, you guys are sacrificing your lifespan for the betterment of society when it comes to getting our products on time. But I could only imagine how much more you could help society if you had the ability to focus on yourself, grow yourself, and then whatever you gain from that, whether you become somebody in the medical field or a lawyer or whatever, or you become a inventor and you create some shit that actually legitimately changes the fabric of our reality. How will we ever get the chance to explore that is if everybody is working not a 9 to 5, but a lot of these people are like working from 9 to 8. They're working all these extra hours just to make ends meet. It's a sad reality, man.
I have just one question. Why change? Gen Z undeniably has countless issues from their attention span, mental health, physical health, addictions, and even with false personas online, they hold a true lack of self-worth. This has been getting worse and worse by the year. But once again, why change? You see, Gen Z is aware of all of this. Everything that's in front of them, but there's no desire or need to change this.
They're addicted.
Why would you care about your addictions or bad habits if you're constantly told the world's going to end tomorrow, that you'll never be able to start a family or even buy a house? This is part of the reason Gen Z doesn't want to work 70 years of their life and still not be able to afford to live. Things that have been the norm for generations have all ended with Gen Z. There is no debate. The system is broken. Education, housing, healthcare, retirement, all broken. Gen Z is at the forefront of a cultural revolution, witnessing the demise of every traditional norm. And they don't just struggle with housing and living, but also have a very different dynamic when it comes to these two things. From both parents being forced to work in order to live, which overall leads to less time the family has with each other, which by extension leads to breakup and divorce, making the single.
On top of that, that's going to create trauma for the children. And those children are going to grow up with that trauma and they're going to inflict that trauma on their potential partners. And then even if they break up, now they're sharing trauma with more people in the world and the world is a worse place. And it's all down to like the little things. Like we all know the reason why a lot of stuff in America specifically is messed up is because the baby boomer generation. Right? They fucked up a lot of things. They basically had the ladder, they climbed up it, and then they pulled it up and screwed everybody else over, right? That's not an excuse, but that's what happened. So what do? You can't just bitch and complain about it. We need to actively take measures to repair the damage that that generation did. But the sad thing is, it's like, it's in our human nature to be greedy, right? So even if you do make it out the mud, you might not be inclined to try and help somebody else out because nobody helped you out. And it's a cycle of trauma, man. It's a cycle of hatred, and it's a sad thing to see.
Single parent household all too common, and it gets worse. If the family is not raising the kids, well, The education system has them covered. You would have hoped. Schools
No.
and colleges have struggled to adapt to a digital world. They've ignored creative and
behind.
entrepreneurial advancements, and instead are stuck living in the past, leading to
Yes.
kids being unprepared for the real world. So with no one raising the generation, people are developing all their thoughts and morals on social media, from TikTok influencers or people like Andrew Tate.
Something has to happen, which the Matrix has not prepared itself for.
Once again, creating further divide and leaving all the power with big tech companies. And now let's say you're a fluke in the system and you stop rotting in your bed and get up and somehow land a job. Well, you still wouldn't be able to get a house. Rents are astronomically high and mortgages used to take 3 to 4 years to save up for, but now instead it's 10 plus years to never. This leaves Gen Z, literal grown adults, 24, 25-year-olds, living with their parents as it's not feasible to move out.
So what are you going to do with your life?
And when you understand all of this, there's no shock that Gen Z has a deep-rooted desire to hate the system they've been told to follow, with many romanticizing the idea of living off-grid in a van or a log cabin somewhere. Now, this may be satire, but it highlights the severity of the situation Gen Z has been placed in. The hatred for the system is further fueled by economic instability as inflation erodes the value of money, whilst income stays the same, driving rates of crime, fraud, and depression. So, I ask
definitely
again,
at a rise.
why change? Gen Z cannot afford to live, nor can they afford to retire 50 years down the line. The world is falling to bits with Western nations like the UK and USA collapsing, and with constant fear-mongering, multiple wars, and no hope for the future, can you really blame Gen Z for being on that damn phone?
No, I honestly can't blame them for that. But what I can blame them for is not standing up for themselves more. And I'm sure there's a lot of Gen Z activists, right? So I'm definitely not talking about them. If you are actually doing something to try and better your future, right? Like, obviously protest, right? People have been protesting since forever, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But not trying does not change anything. It's definitely something that it's a conversation that needs to be had, not just with me, not just with you, not with just Gen Z, but with everybody that's alive. Every single person that is alive on Earth right now needs to have a conversation, not with just everybody, but with themselves too. Do you want to help the future generation? Do you care about the next humans that are going to be on this planet? A lot of people don't. A lot of people only care about themselves, or they only care about their family, or they only care about their friends. But it's a ripple effect. Only helping a small minority of people is only going to help that small minority of people. But when everybody else is looking for something to eat, guess where they're going to look at? They're going to look around. They're going to see, oh, look at that millionaire over there. Look at that billionaire over there. But of course, if you got all that money, you got security, right? So you don't got to worry about that. But then it becomes a dog-eat-dog world on the middle wage front. So people that work a normal job, they're a target. People with lower income and lower income neighborhoods, they're already a target, and they've been a target for generations already. And it just trickles, the crime is going to trickle up. Eventually, it will get to the point, if things do not change, where people are constantly being taken out of our world. You know, demonetization, I can't say the word, but y'all know, there's a game about it. It's something about a creed, you feel me? A something creed. Hidden Blade type.
Huh. That's odd.
Gentlemen! You see, I would love to give the verdict that it's all going to be okay, or you've just got to follow this simple fix. Either all workarounds have been patched April 2024, or I don't find this to be the case. I was born in 2005, a Gen Zer myself. I'm meant to wake up every day and work towards something that is strictly unobtainable in the current climate of the world. And as I said earlier, Gen Z isn't blind to the chaos unfolding around them. They're aware of the economy, the unaffordable housing, and the bleak prospects for the future. And yet, amidst the rubble of broken dreams and shattered norms, yes, there may be millions glued to technology and addictions in the realm of bliss ignorance, but there's also a flicker of defiance, a refusal to accept the status quo.
There we go.
People do want change.
Out there, they're saying
Flicker
keep
of
TikTok.
Defiance, a refusal.
And like, yeah, hashtag keep TikTok for, personal enjoyment, blase, blase, right? Obviously, TikTok, there's a million and one reasons why TikTok should not be a thing, right? Obviously, it degrades people's mental capacity to just sit and they think about shit because they're too busy on their phone. At the same time, that's where media is. Whatever agenda anybody wants to push, whether positive or negative, is on that app. And it's up to the almighty algorithm to dictate what rabbit hole people fall down. It's tricky. Do you have a place where information is open and can be changed at a whim and be manipulated into creating puppets? Or do you get rid of it and keep the old puppet masters alive, right? What's worse, the devil you know or the devil you don't know? It's that type of situation when we talk about TikTok. But at the same time, man, there are going to be some good reasons to keep it. And there's going to be some bad reasons why there's going to be bad reasons when keeping it. But it's definitely a start of a bigger debate. It's deeper than TikTok. TikTok is just, honestly, it's just a buzzword at this point. Oh, blame it on TikTok. Oh, it's TikTok's fault. TikTok this, TikTok that. It didn't start with TikTok. I remember back on YouTube, there was stuff like this. Oh, people watching YouTube too much, blah, 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 blah. They're on the internet all the time. 4chan, this and that. These places were created for a reason. These places have a viewer base for a reason. What is that reason? There are multiple reasons why, right? But we need to create some type of system. Honestly, it's a systematic issue. We need to create some type of system to allow people to flourish with their own personal development. And at the same time, we need a way for people. Honestly, I feel like what's the point of even me preaching? Like if like I feel defeated just seeing this. Because no matter how much I say stuff, I know it'll inspire some, which is good, which is why I still do it, right? But at the same time, it definitely feels like an uphill battle. But even uphill battles need to be fought. God damn it! I'm running for president.
Refusal to accept the status quo. People do want change, and in ways the world's never seen before, Gen Z can create that change. But this won't be easy. Gen Z isn't just battling political issues or the relentless scroll of social media, but also far more extreme factors. From the rise of artificial intelligence and automation that can soon take the jobs of millions.
Which they should. I think automation is going to take jobs, period. I think they should take jobs. But I think there should be a safety net put in place for people that do lose their jobs. Not just say, hey, we got a robot to do all this stuff. You're fired. Bye. Here's 2 months of severance. No. We do need something in the system to give people a way to live. Whether it's UBI or we just say, hey, there's enough automation in the world. And, of course, that's later on in the future that is coming, right? So I think we should prepare for that and giving a way for people to live their lives. Hey, there's a robot and this robot's going to take your job. And then here's a robot that's going to fix that robot if it ever breaks down. And then here's a robot to fix that robot. You see what I'm saying? All these things, and sure, yeah, there's going to be human assistance, right? But the more that there's automation, there's less of a reason why we shouldn't have safety nets for people that do not have jobs. Not everybody just wakes up and says, hey, I'm going to be homeless today. And what I hear is a lot of people are 1 month behind rent before they're just homeless. So that means if October, hey, I got to pay rent. Damn, I can't make it this month. And then November, I can pay October's month. But how are you going to pay November's month if you're paying it? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are 1 month from being out on the streets. And if that's not terrifying, I don't know what is, because the streets are not safe. We do not live in a world where people are kind anymore. You know, we lost the sense of a community. We lost the sense of trying to make the world a better place for other human beings, not because it's just in our benefit, but because it's the right thing to do. And we got to do something. I'm totally down for doing it. Like me personally, like honestly, like I can see myself doing something in politics because I think it'll help. When that day comes, that day comes. But until then, I do want to, of course, keep checking out videos like this because videos like these do help. They really do.
Convince people to slow down AI,
You
to
can.
regulate AI.
Worsening
We should.
unemployment, digitization, and the generation's mental health. But don't worry, it's not just Gen Z that has to fix this issue alongside all the other issues I've raised.
Everybody has to
it's
fix
everyone.
it.
Because if there's one thing that stood prominent over the last decade, is there are many odds that need to be defied. The future of Gen Z is no exception. This is the revolution of a generation, and it's only just begun. I've been Tom Hayden, thank you for watching. If you want to support me, be sure to subscribe and engage with this video, as this is a new YouTube channel.
This was a
And
great
of course,
video, Tom.
have a great day.
This is definitely a great video, and it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had way more. You know, when I was in the military, whenever something bad really happened, it only happened due to a lack of morale. And that's what I see whenever I hear about all this. Whenever I look around and I see this, and I check the internet, and I'm like, oh, what's going on with Gen Z? This bad is happening. This bad is happening. This bad is happening. This was bad is happening. But even when things are going bad, if we were to have a high morale, a lot of things could slowly start turning into our favor. But how do you get a high morale when everything is up against you? There's an army saying, and it's called, hold on, I can't remember right now. Hold on, what's it called? It's called embracing the suck. Yeah, that's what it's called. Even though life sucks, you embrace it. You embrace that shit. Don't mean you enjoy it. You just embrace it. Like, this is it sucks. Hey, maybe we can make it better. And I believe maybe we can. But I'll be not just rooting for that day to come, but I'll actively participate if need be. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day.